What was it about this project, this role, that inspired you to be a part of it?
I found the existence of the project inspiring, and I wanted to work with Lee. I got to know him a little bit beforehand, unrelated to this project actually, and just would you want to work with the creators and the directors of your time and people who you actually like being around, and you find their work is inspiring and challenging and not predictable. Or you get all those things with Mr. Daniels, and I thought that the project is part of, I think that the project is part of a bit of a wave of exposure for the smaller stories that are actually big stories. And, I think that we're telling the story of a real person who had a very real impact over a very significant period of time and bore witness to incredible change in this country that we constantly take for granted. I think there's a really incredible period of about the 3 decades that we cover. And as much exposure as we can give to that, and the slices of life for folks that were involved indirectly, directly, that's adding value to the larger conversation, I think.
Absolutely. And with all of that you just said, was there anything inspiring or enlightening about being a part of this project?
I think the most inspiring and informative process for me was studying the backstory on the character that I had the privilege of playing, which is Reverend James Lawson, who lives in Los Angeles. So I was able to track him down, and he was incredibly generous with his time. Went to his house and spent hours and hours together. Wonderful guy who really, really walked the walk. We have a lot of folks who kind of claim to have walk with Dr. King, and this man was a leader for Dr. King for quite a significant period of time. And absolutely informed Dr. King on Mahatma Gandhi and Satyagraha and the peace movement and love force and the role, the long-term stratagem that's involved with the exposure generated from sit-ins and freedom rides and being absolutely disciplined, unshakably disciplined, and leading with and being a leader instead of a reactionary. These are things that I think are constantly taken for granted in kind of revisionist history. And Mr. Lawson was an incredibly valuable American that we all really owe a debt of gratitude to.
That's so great. And lastly, you mentioned Lee Daniels, but have to ask you, what was it like just working and being a part of this cast? Oprah Winfrey, Forrest Whitaker, Lenny Kravitz, the list
It's
goes on.
always nice to be in good company, and these are people who, by and large, I respect. I think over anything else, I really respect what they've chosen to do with their life and with their craft and with their abilities. And it says a lot about folks, the projects that they choose to do, if they have the luxury of having the choice, which we as actors do not necessarily always feel that we do. So it was an opportunity not only just to be among them, but actually to try to make a small contribution. I took my role very seriously, I took the research very seriously, I took the man that I was representing very seriously, and made that clear to Lee right away. And we spent a good deal of time discussing it. So it's really all a pleasure, and I just really, I look forward to seeing the movie in 20 years. I look forward to seeing it have a legacy of its own and being informative to younger generations who don't have something new and fresh to represent a time gone by that they should really appreciate.
I definitely